Well, here we are once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, your host for Friday Night Tech Talk. And if you're new here, we do this every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from the U.S. And we discuss tech stories that interest me and hopefully you from the last week. So from last Friday to this Friday. And when there's something major happening, that's usually the top story. This week, I didn't think there was anything really major happening, but I always try to pick stories that I think will be of interest to you guys and maybe you won't hear everywhere else. So first one in here tonight was Brian. Hey, Brian. Memorial Day edition. Of course, I have no stories that have reference to Memorial Day. Eleanor did send me a text about the Google Doodle for this week, which references Memorial Day. I could not figure out how to get to it from this computer. So Eleanor was the second one in right after Brian. And here's Cranberry. Glad to have you here. Eleanor, are you feeling better? You've been in my thoughts for a full recovery. That's very nice. And here's Ted. Oh, he's noisy.
Hey.
Where are you?
I am waiting for a meetup to happen.
Well, you told me there was a meetup. So
Let me get out of here.
You're still in Dallas, right?
Yeah. Huh. Freedom.
Are you in a mall or something?
It's called The Shed.
Sounds like there's lots of people there.
Believe it or not, it's not a lot of people.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just, I can't change the cameras on the Chrome. Maybe I can. It's just more involved. It's not a lot of people. It's just these three tackling tags.
Okay.
Everybody's
wishing Eleanor speedy recovery. Brian says hope Eleanor's feeling
better.
That's
great. That's great. I'm glad to hear Eleanor's feeling better.
Okay. Cranberry said Ted's always noisy. Ha ha. Eleanor said, thank you, everyone. It's a slow process. Okay, now we've gotten away from the loud voices. That's good. Yeah, Brian said background noise is very pronounced. So much better now, Brian. Ted is walking away. Ted's got some business stuff going on.
Finally.
Is the movie you were working on finished?
Oh, that's finished. They're editing it now. It's gonna be a while, I think.
Yeah, Ted's becoming a big shot, folks. He's going to become a big shot in the movie business that we won't see him anymore. Are you hearing me all right still?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, all right.
I got bone conduction headphones on, so I got to put one. You hear better if you put one finger in your ear.
Oh, okay. So are you saying you're a bonehead? Is that it?
Now,
you know I wasn't going to resist that. What's the old country song? Work your fingers to the bone. What do you get? Bony fingers. Okay.
I hope that was what the 26 minutes you have left while I have with you.
Exactly. Hey, as long as they get to see you and hear you, I think, we're way ahead of the game. Brian said, nice bone conduction headset. What kind of headset is it anyway? What brand is it?
Well, these aren't particularly nice ones. They're made to be budget. I got them, a brand sent them out to me to review them. And they were only like $40. They're selling it for $40 on Amazon, which is great.
Okay, what's the brand again?
I think they're Cerelances.
Spell it. I'm not getting it.
I'm going to put it in the comments. Cerelances. Yep. Yeah, budget bone conduction, headsets just came out on the market like last year. Before it was really just Aftershocks was your only option, and they're like
Okay.
expensive.
Sayer lenses, Sayrelences. Sayer lenses. Okay, cool. Yeah, Brian said review those suckers.
I did. As part of the agreement, they wanted a review on Amazon, and I said, I'll make a review when I get to it. That was last year.
Oh, okay. So you made a video review? I don't remember it.
Nope, I didn't make a video. I just reviewed it on Amazon, but
Yeah, well, I think Brian wants a video review on YouTube. So
Brian wants a video. Okay.
Okay.
I was like, I'll send you my Amazon review.
No. You've got to please the fans here. And I want to see one too. Cranberry said, haven't heard of them until now. So.
Oh yeah, bone conduction. You got to have them on if you want to listen to music. These are how you should be listening to music. With these, let your ears open. You still have situational awareness.
Okay.
I know, George, you like to just have one in. Yeah, you just use your earbuds with one in.
When I'm outside, I always have one in. I'm too paranoid to have both of them. This is about the only time I have. Even when I'm home at night, I usually just have one in so I can hear what's going on with the other ear. It's just how I am. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, it's better only having one than both ears. Yeah.
Brian is saying send the link, so I guess he wants you to put the link in the comments. Oh, I guess you could send it to him on Twitter or something too. But let me go back and get that name again. That name is Sayrelences, Sayer Lances. So just so everybody knows. All right.
Yeah, I'll send the link in the comments after the stream.
Okay, good. All right, so are you able to look at stories and all that good stuff?
I don't know. Maybe I can't. I don't know what the Pixel allow me to do.
Okay.
I can try.
Well, you want to do the first story if you can? The first story is about the Nothing Phone 2.
Sure, let me see.
Okay.
Stand up. It's loading.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's a good thing you said you're going to put them in the comments at the end of the stream because Brian says he doesn't use Twitter. Okay. Hey, Louis.
Neither do I.
Louis, Louis is back here again. Tech for your needs. It's 2 weeks in a row. You make me proud, Louis. I'm very happy about that. Very nice of you, sir.
Yep. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the first story then. So I just tried to get stories that I think will be interesting this week. So let me go to share screen. And we'll go to my... Oh, and I normally show you guys where the show notes are on my webpage, and I forgot to do that today. So let me get my brand stuff out of the way for a second. If you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, click on today's date, you will see just the stories for tonight's stream. And I didn't give you the usual preview, so I'm starting with just an interesting article, at least I thought it was interesting, about the Nothing Phone 2 and some thoughts that Carl Pei had about it. Then, of course, a few weeks ago, I told you that Montana was going to be the first state to totally ban TikTok. That goes into effect January 1st next year. TikTok creators are fighting back in court. That's going to be a Gizmodo story, so we'll get to that. Apple is not letting their employees in their development of their AI use Chat GPT, nor Bard, nor Microsoft GitHub. So we'll talk about why they don't want their employees using any of their AI stuff from the other companies. And then the EU, the EU wants to come after the big companies, and everybody loves to go after Meta. EU slaps Meta with a $1.3 billion fine. Again, Gizmodo. And then Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, he thinks AI has deadly, and he means deadly potential. So he gave his opinion. And then Elon got FDA approval for Neuralink human study. So
what?
Yep. Oh, I gather somebody else has already done it. So we're going to see computers in somebody's brain very, very soon now. And I gather
does he have a Neuralink chip in his brain?
He's talked about being one of the people who volunteers for it. So you'll see it in the story. So, very interesting story. But somebody has already beaten him out. Somebody's already ahead of him. So those are the stories we're going to go over. Let me go back to comments because Brian, with his usual kind self. Thank you, Brian, as always. Very much appreciated, sir.
Thanks, Brian.
By the way, over the weekend, you're going to see something new on my channel, something I've never had before, you've never seen on my channel before. And when it comes in, hopefully tomorrow, I'll let you guys know about it. So be looking for that. Sometime over the weekend, I will get a video up on a new kind of unboxing. And since I don't have to go back to work again until next Thursday, I've got time to get it done. So.
What have we not seen before from George?
Yeah, giving you all something to think about. I guarantee you've not seen anything like this.
So no.
It might just end like the iRobot movie, scary stuff. Yeah, talking about
high fidelity audio.
Talking about how dangerous AI is. Yeah, it could end up like the iRobot movie. It could end up like Terminator. Who knows? Anyway, so let me get to them. I'm going to go back at your screen again, back to the show notes, and I'm going to the first story, and we're walking around with Ted, which is good, in Dallas. Okay, what I said, there's nothing particularly informative here, pun intended, just an interesting article. The pun was nothing because it has to do with the nothing. Okay, that's on Tech Radar. So, Carl wants to make something out of nothing, but carefully. And this is by Lance Ulanoff, and we've read stuff by him before. And it says the Nothing Phone tool will innovate somehow.
Is you gonna go on?
We got time, dude. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to put this in reader view, so we'll give it some of these ads. Okay, there's the Nothing Phone 1 in the picture. I thought I'd never met Carl Pei before, but he told me we did so years ago when he, along with Pete Lau, was launching OnePlus, the company he left to found Nothing Tech. I honestly don't remember, though I do recall how intrigued we all were about this Android upstart. Sounds like an old fart like me. He's not, trust me. Now, years later, he's CEO of this still new and closely watched mobile technology startup. After a splashy launch of the Glyph-backed Nothing Phone 1, everyone is eagerly awaiting the small company's second act, the Nothing Phone 2, which will be its first major smartphone launch in the US, which I'm looking forward to that. Most expected to arrive in the middle of the year. No one outside of Nothing knows what it will look like or what technology it will pack inside beyond promises of more premium components. I see you, Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Yeah, the 2 is going to have the higher Snapdragon 1 because the 1 had 700 series. I've been critical of the company, but am also curious, much like me, so have I. So when I got the invite for a casual nothing meetup in a trendy Brooklyn bar with the promise that Pei would be there, I jumped at the chance. Pei showed up without fanfare, dressed in a large puffy black down jacket that somehow made him look younger than his 33 years. So I think this was when it was still kind of cold in Brooklyn. Someone introduced me to Pei, and after he reminded me we sort of knew each other, we quickly fell into a deep and lengthy discussion of the phone market. There was no expectation that I was conducting an official interview, which meant I didn't take notes and wouldn't be quoting Pei at length. Still, after we were done, I jotted down some recollections and insights that I can share here. Naturally, I asked Pei if he had the Nothing Phone 2 on him. He did, but wouldn't show it to me. Smart man, I think. When I asked if this would iterate on the previous design or head in a new direction, Pei wouldn't say. So he's really keeping it mysterious. What he did tell me, though, is that Nothing has no plans or illusions about dominating the U.S. phone market. Pei said that Apple has it pretty much locked up, much more so than when he first started at OnePlus.
That is very true.
That is very true. Pei talked a lot about the need to innovate, but always within the practical limits of his small company. Nothing is based in the UK, but has small teams in China, Taiwan, and Europe. It manufactures in India. Nothing is well diversified in this way. It's also backed in part by Google, which I did not know, which probably appreciates the way Nothing pushes the boundaries of Android phone design. We talked about the Nothing phone glyph, and while I complimented how it could, with light, show you the status of your charge, Pei clearly didn't think the transparent back had enough utility, at least not yet. So that would imply that the phone 2 is going to have more things going on in back. That would be my assumption. We dug into Apex smartphone features such as fast charging, fast clips, and powerful cameras. Pei said everyone is doing all that and trying to match competitors beat for beat is no way for it to survive. He described his company as more or less a tiny fish in an ocean. I mentioned how I love the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I have mine right here. I have that with me tonight. I'll show you all the phones I have tonight in a minute. But Pei said his team is too small to compete in camera innovation. Instead, Pei's plan is really the long game. Sell for a time boutique phones and build a technology brand around them. Not one that pushes the limits of feasibility and believability like humane wearables, but one that points to the next phase of computing, whatever that is. That might be interesting. It sounds like it might be interesting. Pei's Nothing will carefully walk the tightrope between innovation and viability. It will swing hard, but never too far. There's no doubt there will be something interesting and special about the Nothing Phone 2, but not something that will make it impractical. To support this slow, steady innovation creep, Nothing will expand into the markets where it has the best chance of, if not winning, growth. India is such a market. Other emerging markets, though, like Africa, might not be such a good bet because they're looking for truly cheap phones and do not care about features like see-through back. Pei is optimistic about the Nothing Phone 2 and told me that development is going well. What it's developing into, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I'm more intrigued now because it's coming to the U.S. this time. Sign up to receive the okay. So basically, they just had a conversation, but obviously, Carl Pei is keeping this very close to the vest and not giving up much of anything. Now, we're all expecting this to come out June, July, sometime this summer is my guess. So that's the first story. Let me stop screen. I normally show you guys what phones I have with me. So tonight I have the Moto G Power here.
How are you liking that?
I am liking that quite a bit, although it doesn't have NFC, which seems to aggravate the crap out of Mike. It doesn't bother me much because since I always carry two phones, obviously I pretty much always have a phone with NFC on it. So, and I also have the Galaxy A54, and I am loving this so far. Everybody seems to love this phone, including Mike. Mike has it also. This is the first time I think Mike and I both have two of the same phone and both pretty new. And of course, I have my iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I used at work today, and the other phone that I used at work today was my A54. So I would like to show you guys what phones I have with me. So that's it for tonight. Those are the 4 phones I brought over here with me. Let me get out of this story. So, are you getting ready to get started, or are you still staying with us a little bit?
I think I could stay for a little bit, maybe 4 more minutes. But I'm going to do one story.
Okay, what you want to do the next one? The TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up. Very good.
Happening TikTok.
All right, whenever you're ready. Oh wait, let me share screen.
How Montana's TikTokers are fighting back against the state's ban. Boo! That ain't no shame.
This I started becoming on their side after reading this story. So you tell me what you think when you finish it. Go ahead.
TikTokers in Montana are going to war against a new law banning the app across the state. They are banding together and joining lawsuits against the state, accusing their elected officials of suppressing their speech and upending their livelihoods. This week, less than 24 hours after Republican Governor Greg Gianforte signed the first of its kind bill into law, a group of TikTokers filed a lawsuit against the state's attorney, steadily seeking to reverse the ban. The video creators are the first in an expected avalanche of legal fights against Montana. They're seeking to preserve their rights to publish on an app and safeguard their online audiences, some of which have taken years to build.
What happened? Did we lose you? You froze on us completely. All right, I think I will pick it up. All right, I'm going to continue because it seems like you're frozen, so maybe you can come back in. All right, I'm going to pick it up right from where you were. Oh, did you hear me say you froze up?
Yeah, I freeze up. I have to go into a different app to read the article.
Okay, so you want to continue or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Goddard has around 95,000 followers and says TikTok has allowed her to.
No. Go back to the top of that paragraph, please.
It's the Carly Goddard, a Montana-based TikTok creator and self-described ranch wife, is one of the creators fighting back against the ban. In an interview with Gizmodo, Goddard said the income from the app has helped her put food on the table and stay home with her nearly 2-year-old son. Goddard has around 95,000 followers and says TikTok has allowed her to triple her family's income. Now she says the ban threatens her way of life and could force her family to go back to living paycheck to paycheck. I feel like there are a lot of people that don't understand this app. Some people think that it's all just about dancing. It's not. That's also part of the problem. It's not just about dancing. There are young moms like me that just want to be able to stay home and be able to afford groceries and pay their bills. That's what OnlyFans is for. God damn.
Well, I don't think maybe she doesn't want to be a sex bot while she's doing it, especially with her kids watching her. So I wouldn't go on OnlyFans if I were her. So I'm on her side on this one. Oh, and you froze again. All right, I'm going to continue. Goddard said she was drawn into the short video platform several years ago after stumbling across a daily lifestyle video blog from another mother. She had just had her own child around 3 months prior and felt inspired by seeing someone like herself creating videos. It was a dark, difficult period of time for Goddard. Her grandfather, just check this out, had just been convicted of sexually assaulting her when she was 11 years old, as well as another victim 20 years before. The trial had drained her, I can imagine. I kind of just wanted to find my purpose, Goddard said. I had no motivation to do anything. I needed something to do. You want to continue or you want me to keep going?
I'll continue.
Okay.
Goddard started posting incrementally, sharing short recipe videos, offering users a glimpse into a rural Montana lifestyle. She quickly started attracting followers, which motivated her to commit more time and attention to her videos and share more of her personal stories. Goddard said her honest blog style videos have resonated particularly well with younger users who look up to her and say they see an inspiration for how to be a good mother. That's really inspiring. That keeps me going every day. Goddard said the app helped her find that purpose she was looking for. And Bika Kumar, the lawsuit's lead counsel, told Gizmodo, Montana's blanket ban prevents our clients and all Montanans from engaging in protected speech. We are determined to see that this misguided and invalid law is permanently enjoined. Rich Baker, a metal worker and military veteran, is listed on separate soon-to-be-issued class lawsuit of all small businesses vying to overturn the ban. Baker told Gizmodo he estimates.
All right, I'll pick it up. Baker told Gizmodo he estimates that around 60% of his income, that's a lot, comes from TikTok leads and sales. He says the ban has sent him into panic mode, but said he's using the lawsuit as a vehicle to fight back. Go ahead, Ted. You're back.
Okay. It would be a huge hit for me, Baker said. I don't think lawmakers understand this impact this can have on small businesses.
And I didn't understand this part of it until I read these two stories. Now I'm kind of on their side.
Oh, why don't you finish up the story, Jeff? I gotta go. So I gotta go.
All right, I got it. What does Montana TikTok ban do? If allowed to take effect on January 1st, 2024, Montana's TikTok ban would prohibit app stores like Apple and Google's from offering downloads of their products. App stores found in violation of the law could face fines of $10,000 per day from the state's Department of Justice. TikTok users wouldn't be subject to fines, and current users could theoretically still continue using the app. Yeah, that's what I thought. But they wouldn't be able to download any new updates, which could be a problem. TikTok declined to comment for the story, although I did see another story today that TikTok is also suing Montana.
I heard that too.
I don't think Montana's going to win this battle.
That's unfortunate.
That forced reliance on an older version of the app means users would be barred from downloading security patches or other important safety patches. Users could also potentially sideload the app or use a virtual private network, a VPN, to mask their geolocations. But that extra technical effort would likely shut out some users. Yeah, because it's only going to be technical people going to use a VPN. Baker told Gizmodo that Montana authorities have to physically come and delete the app off his phone to prevent him from using it. I don't think they will stop him from using it. I don't see how they can enforce this. But yeah, they're not going to be able to stop you from using it if you already have it. At the end of the day, you may just have more tech-savvy users of TikTok using VPNs, like I said, to continue accessing the service anyway, but with increasingly worse security and privacy protections because they can't get regular software updates. Emily Lanzo, the director of the Center for Democracy and Technology's Free Exposition Project, there's a mouthful, previously told Gizmodo. Goddard told Gizmodo she cried the first time she heard about Montana's ban. So it sounds like this family really makes money off of this and is really helping support their family. She and her husband live on a feed lot and were living paycheck to paycheck prior to her success on the app. Her income from TikTok allowed her family a newfound sense of financial stability. So yeah, they must be really benefiting from this. That's all in jeopardy when the ban takes effect. In response, she and her husband have discussed leaving the state altogether. Goddard dreams of having a second child. Montana's TikTok ban has put that hope on hold. That's pretty rough. My income has put food on the table and has been able to help us out so much. She said it would just be very hard to go back to how we used to live. Yeah, I think I'd rather move than do that if I were them. And this part is where I don't think TikTok is, where I don't think Montana is going to win this. Supporters of the bill argue it's necessary because TikTok, owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, could pose a national security risk. But the lawsuit filed this week claims Montana, as a state, has no real authority to enact laws attempting to advance U.S. foreign policy goals. And they're probably right about that. The lawsuit also says the ban singles out TikTok among a sea of apps that host potentially harmful content and unlawfully restrict users' own freedom of association. And they're right. There's a whole bunch of Chinese apps out there. And other people have brought that up too. When it comes to regulating online speech, the suit says lawmakers need to act like a surgeon with a scalpel. This law looks more like a sledgehammer. TikTok is where 1 billion people go to find entertainment, talk politics, build community, express themselves, and in many cases make a living. Kumar Dalit. Yeah, that's true. Eleanor always finds lots of Christian content that she gets from TikTok most of the time, and she finds great Christian content there, so she doesn't have a problem with it. Montana's ban, according to the lawsuit, would cause irreparable harm to users who have built up large followings on the app. While some creators like Baker already post their content to Instagram and could theoretically convince some of their audience to follow them over to other apps, many would likely slip through the cracks and disappear among the chaos. Aside from upending creators' financial stability, the lawsuit warns the ban could also destroy communities grown on the platform that users rely on to express themselves and discuss serious issues like mental health and suicide prevention. Yeah, and I never thought of that you're going to have groups there that discuss very serious stuff. Baker, the veteran and metal worker, previously told Gizmodo that fellow veterans he's met through the app will call to check up on him if he hasn't posted a video in a couple of days. That's nice. Their care means a great deal to him, he said. He doesn't know where else to find something like it. Montana readies for battle. Legal experts speaking with Gizmodo said it's unlikely Montana's law will be able to survive the coming court cases. I agree. It's not a constitutional question. It's a constitutional fact that states cannot do this. Net Choice General Counsel Carl Szabo told Gizmodo. Still, that apparent inevitability isn't stopping lawmakers from gearing up for a fight. In a statement sent to Gizmodo, Montana Attorney General Orson Knudsen referred to TikTok as a Chinese Communist Party spying tool. And that very well may be true, but aren't some of the other Chinese companies spying tools? That's the weird part here. Emily Flower, a spokeswoman for Knudsen, said in a separate statement that we expected a legal challenge and are fully prepared to defend the law. Flower also suggested, without providing evidence, that's a key phrase, that TikTok may have some involvement with the lawsuits. Well, I gather from what I saw today, TikTok has its own lawsuit. Gianforte similarly said the state has an obligation to protect Montanans from alleged but unproven Chinese spying. So I'm thinking if they can't prove the spying, they're not going to be able to keep this. That's my guess. Even if the law is struck down, that's little comfort to Montana creators who have already spent months operating in a sense of nervous panic and constantly question the future of their life. Yeah, but they haven't stopped them yet, so they have until January. Baker says he's using the time to encourage other TikTok creators to write to their local representatives and post videos opposing restrictions to the app. That's the smart thing to do, put videos out there. He said it's important for creators to let the world understand the ways bans, both state level and national, can impact their daily lives, because I didn't think of it until I read this. The more people and the more voices that are heard, the better, Baker said. Hopefully, we can either get this axed out or at least altered to where it's not a modern-day Patriot Act. So, very good article, I thought, and very well stated. So, pretty important to people whose real livelihoods really depend on this stuff. Let me stop screen. All right, you guys know Ted had to go. So, yeah, Ted's gone because he's going to his other meeting. Hi, Annette. We've gotten through 2 stories. Ted was here, but he is at a meeting in Dallas, and he was with us for a little while. Big House, same here. Ted was with us for a little while, but he had another business meeting that he had to be. Matter of fact, he was at the site while he was with us. So anyway, glad you guys are here. Glad you're here, Annette. Glad Big House. Glad you're here very much, sir. And the story I just did, the Montana TikTok ban, I think was a pretty good story, and it's kind of swayed me to the side of the TikTokers who are actually having their livelihoods threatened by this. So anyway, shows you how actually a story can actually change your mind. It kind of changed mine. So let me go on to the next story. I'm glad we had Ted for a little while, so it always helps when he's here. I'm going back to share screen. And my next story, which I thought was interesting, what I said was Apple to employees, no ChatGPT, no Bard, no Microsoft GitHub. And I found this on Tom's Guide, and it kind of makes sense since Apple is developing their own AI. Apple bans employees from using ChatGPT. Here's why. This is by Rachel Phillips. It was published 8 days ago. Apple has restricted its workers from using ChatGPT and other AI chatbots. So let me get review. Get rid of some of these ads. Come on, review. I've noticed every once in a while it takes glitches for a minute before review pops up. Okay, Apple bans employees from using ChatGPT. Let me give you guys full screen here. Okay, Apple has banned its employees from using ChatGPT and other AI platforms over fears its own AI plans could be leaked. And that makes sense. You'll see why. According to, ironically, an internal leaked document here, took a leak to tell us about this, obtained by the Wall Street Journal, Apple has restricted all use of ChatGPT, Google Bard, and similar large language models for employers while it develops similar technology. And that's because these things all collect data. Apple employees have also been advised not to use Microsoft's GitHub Copilot, which developers can use to automate code writing over fears of leaked confidential data. That kind of makes sense. This leak comes just as OpenAI released the first official ChatGPT app for the iPhone. The app follows the same model as the web version with the ChatGPT 3.5, so they've moved it up from 3 to 3.5 version being free to use. However, those waiting for the best version of the technology can upgrade to ChatGPT. That's going to give you version 4 plus for $20 a month. The paid-for version allows users to chat with the AI, answer follow-up questions, and even challenge incorrect assumptions. In a press release to mark the launch of the new iOS app, OpenAI wrote, the ChatGPT app is free to use and syncs your history across devices. And that's where Apple probably has a problem with it too. It also integrates Whisper, our open source speech recognition system, enabling voice input. ChatGPT Plus subscribers get exclusive access to GPT-4. So now you're above the 3.5 that the free version is on. Capabilities, early access to features, and faster response times on iOS. It also added that the app rollout is in the United States only at present, but will expand to additional countries in the coming weeks. There may be some substance to Apple's concerns, I agree. ChatGPT, a Microsoft-supported platform, collects data, and this is the important point, to improve its AI models. That's what they all do. That's where they're all getting all this knowledge from. But a bug discovered in March allowed users to view the chat history of others, prompting ChatGPT to add the option for users to turn off their chat history and not contribute to AI training. But if you're developing your own like Apple is, I wouldn't trust that. Obviously, if Apple engineers use ChatGPT, there is no guarantee their codes will not leak, right, or be used by third-party developers. And it's not just Apple that has banned its workforce from using AI tech. Companies including JP Morgan Chase and Verizon have also stopped the use of generative AIs by their employees. It makes perfect sense to me. A Siri tip for AI infusion. While Apple seems slow to enter the AI race, a recent discovery by 9to5Mac shows it is working on its own AI project. The project named Bobcat has been discovered in the tvOS 16.4 beta and shows Apple testing out new language capabilities for Siri. The project, which is allegedly being led by John Giandrea, hey, I said it right, who Apple hired from Google in 2018, aims to make Siri better, understand users, and respond more naturally. So while current plans, pardon me, don't seem to include AI technology to rival the likes of ChatGPT, they do want to make Siri more conversational. That would help, and allow it to perform tasks outside of the narrow conditions that it's currently been programmed for. It's also important to note that under Giandrea, Apple has acquired a number of artificial intelligence startups. I wonder how many. However, it's unclear when and how Apple plans to make its current AI developments available to the public. Probably a ways out, but I think what they're doing makes perfect sense. So I just thought that was an interesting story. Get out of that. Let me go back and take a look at the comments. Okay. I'm glad you saw Ted in that. Yeah, Big Housing says he's glad he doesn't use it. Yeah, I don't use it much either, but like I said, Eleanor gets lots of Christian content from TikTok, and she finds really good stuff there. So different people have different uses for it. What they're grabbing from us, I don't know, but on other Chinese apps doing the same thing, I would suspect so. So I don't understand why it's always TikTok that's singled out. Well, like you, I don't use it. Xi Jinping says, keep dancing, everyone. Yeah, I guess he would say that, wouldn't he? And of course, from past stories, I know that if you start a technology company in China, you are required to give them anything the government, anything they say they need from you. You are required to sign that as part of your ability to start a company. Otherwise, you don't start a company in China. So it makes sense. It's just, to me, it doesn't make sense to single out one company and only one company. That's what doesn't make sense. But I don't have TikTok either. Family does, but not me. Yeah, if you're not comfortable with it, like I said, I don't have it, but Eleanor uses it all the time. Okay. Apple is doing it right. Just my opinion on that. Too many loopholes and possible data gathering. I agree 100%. Going on to trust in the dev departments at Apple. I agree. I think they're doing the absolute right thing. And so is JP Morgan and Verizon, whoever else is developing AI stuff. Okay, so let me go on to the next story. Back to sharing screen. Okay. Now, this is just me, folks, but anytime that Meta, Facebook, even though I use Facebook and Instagram, anytime they get slapped down, I'm all for it. That's just me. I just don't like the boss. So, EU slaps Meta with a $1.3 billion fine. Another Gizmodo story. So Facebook and Instagram fined $1.3 billion orders to stop, and this is the key. And I remember I had a story referencing this 6-7 months ago. Order to stop sending EU data to the US, and they had told them back then that they were going to start fining them, and I guess they have. Meta says the record-breaking fine under GDPR will cost the company 10% of its global ad revenue. Yeah, but you were warned a long time ago, so I don't feel sorry for you there. This is by Thomas Germain. So let's go into reader view. This was from 4 days ago. The European Union hit Meta, a parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, with a history-changing order to suspend data transfers to the U.S. on Monday. Yeah, because the old story said they were storing data they were collecting in the EU on servers that were in the U.S. And the EU told them months ago they don't want that. The order comes with a 1.2 billion euro fine, about $1.3 billion. The largest ever fine under Europe's General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, which everybody had signed on to. The FCC, that's a separate story, sorry. In April, Meta told investors that the risk of an upcoming privacy decision in the EU could cost the company 10% of its global advertising revenue. The order gives Meta 6 months to stop processing Europeans' personal data. So they still have time in the US and to delete any such data already stored in US data centers. And that's, I think, Meta's big issue. They don't want to delete the data. They've been collecting data for a few years now. So that EDPB found that Meta's IE's infringement is very serious, since it concerns transfers that are systematic, repetitive, and continuous, said Angela Jelinek, chair of the European Data Protection Board, in a press release. And it makes sense because every country has these very different laws regarding privacy and that kind of stuff. And my guess is it's very different from ours to the EU's. Facebook has millions of users in Europe, so the volume of personal data transferred is massive. The unprecedented fine is a strong signal to organizations that serious infringements have far-reaching consequences, but they still give them some months. Meta said in a statement that it plans to appeal the ruling and that there is no immediate disruption to Facebook in Europe right now. The data in question: names, emails, IP addresses, messages, location, and more. Yeah, what's the more? That's what I'd be worried about. This is not about one company's privacy practices. There is a fundamental conflict of law between the U.S. government's rules on access. Right, it's different than their rules to data and European privacy rights, which policymakers are expected to resolve this summer, Meta wrote in a blog post Monday. For years, experts questioned whether the EU would actually enforce the ideals in its sweeping GDPR privacy rules. That's true ever since it started. Monday's order is proof the EU means business. Yeah, they've been kind of letting it slide for a while, but I guess they're going to come down on everybody. The EDPB is a harsher update to a fine proposed back in January. The legal argument essentially is that Meta and other companies can't force you to agree to data harvesting, which is what you have to do right now in their terms of service. If that logic holds up, it could spell the end of certain kinds of targeted advertising, and that's what it's all about. One thing is certain: EU citizens are going to see even more pop-ups asking for consent to online tracking than they already do. And my guess is most people are going to say no. Pardon me. Meta and other big advertising companies like to say that people prefer relevant, aka targeted ads. But when you frame the question in the context of privacy and pervasive data collection, most people aren't on board. It makes perfect sense. If Meta and the rest of the internet are forced to obtain meaningful consent for data harvesting, it could spell the death of targeted ads in the EU entirely, and they don't want that. One of the world's biggest ad markets, turning the web's business model on its head. However, this doesn't mean that companies won't find a way to preserve the privacy-less status quo. I doubt if they can keep the status quo. The more business-friendly you U.S. is working on a framework that would allow this kind of data transfer without violating the European privacy law. If they can do that, that would be great. The EDPD order makes room for an agreement that would close the gap, and Monday's decision ratchets up pressure on policymakers to make a deal. While Meta's statement signals optimism, the EU is a serious blow. The company may have to create an entirely separate systems to silo its European operation. I think that's what they have to do. And they'll still make money, probably not quite as much, because the U.S. laws favor making money more. That a project would be both expensive upfront and less profitable in the long term, but they'd still be making a profit. The EU decision is part of a broader trend. We're entering a new privacy era that could finally rein in many of the internet's worst privacy offenses. But with a gaping hole where U.S. privacy laws should be, the battle isn't over yet. Yeah, and if this hits them, it's going to hit Google and other companies too. There are no comprehensive federal privacy laws in the U.S., and there's the difference. There's widespread agreement on privacy issues, and curbing big tech is one of the few areas of common ground between Democrats and Republicans. But despite years of grandstanding, and that's all it's been so far, American lawmakers have made little progress. Many states passed their own privacy laws in the meantime, but America's data is unprotected writ large. Congress' total failure on this issue made space for the dominant tech platforms to write the country's privacy rules themselves. Yeah, and they've been, whatever they want to do, that's what they've been doing. In 2021, Apple introduced a new privacy setting called App Tracking Transparency, which I think is great. I always say no. It gives iPhone users a way to block apps from tracking them across the internet, and the vast majority of users choose the more private option. I know I do. Google's set to make a similar and perhaps more dramatic change. Oops, Zuckerberg isn't going to like that. The search giant's so-called Privacy Sandbox project will shut off third-party cookies in 2024, blocking the primary method companies have used to spy on customers for 30 years. Yeah, Zuckerberg's going to hate that. Of course, the tech giants' moves give them a number of advantages and deals serious blows to their competitors. Meta is one of the hardest hit. Yeah, I knew it would be. The company attributes $10 billion losses to Apple's privacy setting alone. So if Google does it, they're going to be losing more. Meta wants its investors to know that everything is just fine. Yeah, sure it is. But the company understands the writing is on the wall. The strongest evidence is the fact that Mark Zuckerberg's company is now called Meta, not Facebook, reflecting an effort to completely diversify the business and focus on building a virtual reality metaverse on the internet. The company laid off thousands of workers and plans to cut a total of 10,000 employees by the end of the year. The social media powerhouse appears to be floundering, though it's not all bad news. Meta has its first sales increase in almost a year this April. Yeah, I saw that story too. I was surprised they actually made some money for a change. So they're going to have to start playing ball with the EU, is my guess. So, interesting story. That's going to be an ongoing story. You can count on that. Let's see. What we got going in the comments? Yeah, big house. Yeah, 6 months. That's a lifetime. And it's yes. You know how much money they're going to make? Meta's going to make in the next 6 months, even if they do have to cave in. But the story is right. It's going to cost them a lot of money up front to change it so this data is stored in Europe and not in the U.S. And the fact that the rules are different is going to cost them a little bit more money. So, but I think they're going to have to play ball. Okay. Okay, that's the one comment we had. All right, on to the next story. Hey, but there's a fruit fly hanging around. I hate fruit flies. Okay, And I have no fruit here. Why is he here? Okay. This story can be kind of scary, I guess. Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO, blunt about AI's deadly potential. And this was on Android Authority. People could be harmed or killed by that action, says former Google CEO. Eric Schmidt didn't mince words in a recent discussion about AI and its possible effect on your brain. Let me get a quick drink here. And the current CEO and former CEO don't agree on this. Pardon me. So you'll see that as we get down, they very much disagree on how dangerous this is. So I'm going to switch to reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Okay. Oh, Edgar. This guy has worked for them for a long time. He's the one that took the picture. I mean, he used to write for them a lot. He used to be in another weekly show, but I can't remember the name of it anymore. Anyway, from 2001 to 2011, Eric Schmidt was at Google's helm as CEO. Eventually, current CEO Sundar Pichai took over, with Schmidt serving on various Google boards and advisory roles before fully leaving the company to focus on philanthropic ventures. On Wednesday, however, the former Google CEO talked about AI at the Wall Street Journal CEO Council Summit in London. During the chat, Schmidt delivered some sobering remarks about humanity's potential future if AI remains unregulated. There are scenarios, not today, this is him speaking, but reasonably soon, where these systems will be able to find zero-day exploits in cyber issues or discover new kinds of biology. That's kind of scary. Schmidt said at the event. Now, this is fiction today, but its reasoning is likely to be true. And when that happens, we want to be ready to know how to make sure these things are not misused by evil people. Pardon me. Summarizing his thoughts, Schmidt said AI poses an existential risk, which he defined as many, 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 many people harmed or killed. So he really thinks this is serious. When asked about regulating AI, Schmidt was pessimistic. He does not believe a new regulatory body will be set up in the United States to deal specifically with AI, which I think that's what it needs, a new department completely, which could be a viable solution to AI's rapid growth. Schmidt also offered no potential solutions for these problems, instead saying they are a broader question for society. Now, here's where these guys seriously disagree here. Schmidt made it clear during this recent event that he thinks we need to put some brakes on AI. So does Elon, for that matter. He is worried about the ramifications of misinformation, massive job losses, and even manipulations of biology. Current Google CEO Sundar Pichai, however, doesn't share the same level of alarm. Pichai believes that AI needs regulation. He's even directly asked for government regulation of Google and any other company working with AI. However, Pichai is also moving full steam ahead with rolling out AI-based tools for consumers within Google products, as evidenced by the AI-heavy Google I/O 2023. Yeah, and I/O 2023, boy, was it AI-heavy in the beginning, first 45 minutes or so. This could be mostly due to keeping up with the competition rather than a fervent desire to push AI forward, but the company is moving forward all the same. So, yeah, if Schmidt is right and Pichai is wrong, could be dangerous for everybody. Anyway, I just thought we needed to let the story be out there. Okay, nothing new in the comments. So I'll go down to my list. I'm probably not going to read all of this because it's kind of long. But Neuralink is starting to get serious here, folks. I said Elon gets FDA approval for Neuralink's human study. A big deal in my humble opinion. And this was on The Verge. The FDA will apparently let Elon Musk put a computer in a human's brain. Yeah, I don't like the fact that Elon Musk won't be doing it. Some experts will be doing it, but they have to use his name, so he's behind it. But it's not the same thing. Who will be the first to go under Neuralink's knife? So let's get it in reader view. Elon Musk's brain-computer interface company Neuralink says it has received Food and Drug Administration approval to launch its first in-human clinical study. If this is true, it means that actual humans could be getting a device from Neuralink implanted in their heads. And believe me, somebody's ahead of him. You'll see that already. The news follows Elon Musk's November claim. Here's with the kind of stuff that aggravates me because they worded this intentionally to make it misleading. Listen to this. The news follows Elon Musk's November claim that Neuralink was about 6 months away from its first human trial, which suggests that it's the rare Musk promise that's actually coming true on time. So listen how it's worded. November claim, but then later it's a rare Musk promise. Now, was it a claim or was it a promise? But they intentionally switch words, and I hate the fact that they do that because they're making it misleading on purpose, and it's very, very obvious. The announcement of a future human trial isn't nearly as much as a milestone as the results of that trial. That's very true. But this isn't just any trial. This represents Elon Musk, of all people, getting to attach a device to a human brain. Well, his experts anyway. And it makes us wonder, who would sign up for such a thing and why? That's very true. I don't think I would. Will it be someone who might have an important medical reason or someone who wants to draw the world's attention at Musk's side? And is there any chance it's Elon Musk himself? Musk has claimed he will get the device implanted in his own head at some unspecified time in the future. That's a very good point. If he really trusted, wouldn't he make himself the guinea pig? Meanwhile, Neuralink has been accused of abusing its monkey test subjects, a claim the company denies, and is under investigation for allegedly transporting contaminated devices removed from monkeys. I had no idea that was already happening. The FDA rejected an early 2022 Neuralink application for human trials, apparently outlining dozens of issues the company needed to address. So I guess they must have addressed those issues, I would hope. Musk Neuralink would not be the first, and here, this is kind of important, to implant the brain-computer interface in a human. Synchron was approved by FDA to begin U.S. trials in 2021, so they've already done it, and announced the first U.S. brain-computer implant last July, so they're ahead of Elon's company. This January, it published the results of an earlier study of 4 human patients in Australia. So they've done it here in the U.S., and they've done it 4 times at least in Australia. If you're thinking that you yourself would like to be part of the Neuralink trial, no, thank you. There's nothing for you to do now. Neuralink says the recruitment isn't open yet and that it will announce more information soon. Okay, so I thought the story was longer than that, but very interesting stuff. So there are at least 5 people walking around the planet with computers in their heads, and soon will be more from Neuralink. So I just thought that was interesting. All right, so let me get out of here. Nothing new in the comments. So we'll do our usual glowing rectangles, and we'll get on with our weekend. Sorry I didn't have any Memorial Day stories, folks. I just tried to come up with what I thought was interesting. So, as we do every week, we just show you glowing rectangles. A place, it says the place to talk about all the best toys, but it's where you can get exposure for your own videos, your own blogs, or someone else's. You can put somebody else's there to promote them. So, let me show you. You go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. This is kept up by Juan Bagnoff, some gadget guy. So he's the guy to thank for all of this. And if you can vote, upvote or downvote stories every day. If you click at top, it'll show you what got upvotes today. Okay, so this story has 3 upvotes already. 1 plus long-term review. Second one is always an ad. He was at top last week also in the Videos Explosives. That he does this weekly show, and it's pretty good. He's very, very knowledgeable. He also got 3 upvotes. And usually you'll find our stuff right here. Let's say e-bike changed everything. Yeah, I won't get an e-bike because I'm not to exercise. E-bike makes it easier, and that's not a good idea if you have exercise. But if you're commuting like Ted does, an e-bike to me makes perfect sense. Okay, here's one story, and I knew he'd be here somewhere. Best wireless microphone, massive update for the Rode Wireless Go 2. There's a SoundBeat story. Let's see if we're here at all. This I hadn't seen. Pixel 7a versus Canon R50. That should be interesting, going up against the DSLR. And, not there yet. Ted has it, so it'll post tonight's show automatically, but not there yet. I'm surprised. So anyway, if you need exposure for yourself or someone else, just post it daily out here in glowing rectangles, and at least more people will get their eyes on your stuff or somebody else's stuff, wherever you put them. So just like to let you know about that every week, folks. So let me stop screen. So most of us, at least those of us in America, have a long weekend, and I hope everybody has a very good Memorial Day weekend. And I just, being a part-timer, I don't automatically get paid, so I just took a paid day because I had some paid days coming. So I don't have to go back to work till Thursday. So I hope everybody has a very blessed and a wonderful long weekend. And those of you who do have to work, well, the rest of us, I guess, thank you for that. So have a blessed weekend, folks. And let's always remember, we all do better when we love each other. And I am out, and we'll see you next week.